Hello, I'm Mr. Jonathan and welcome to Virtually BGCMC. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw Nezuko from a show called Demon Slayer. Before we get into the drawing, if you do plan on checking out this show, I do have to say, please get your parents' permission. Now, diving into the drawing, we're going to start off with the first basic shape here that we need, and that's going to be a circle for the head. So this version of the character is actually what they call a chibi version or a mini version. So it looks a little bit different from how she actually looks on the show. But this version is going to be a lot easier to draw, so I think you'll have fun with it. Now I got my circle for the head. As usual, I'm going to drop in a vertical midline and a horizontal midline. These midlines, if you don't know, are just to guide us on where to put all the parts of the face and the hair so that it's all symmetrical. You don't have to use them, but I like to, just because again, they are very helpful to me. Moving on from the circle for the head, the next basic shape we need is this bell shape coming down from the body or from the head, and this shape is going to be the body. You want it nice and round. That's because this character is wearing a lot of layer of clothes, so the rounder you get it, the more it looks like these layers are stacked on to her body here. And then we're gonna close these 2 points with a straight line going across. From here, these are the primary shapes we need, meaning the first most important shapes. We're going to add what we call secondary shapes, which are exactly what they sound like, the second most important shapes that we need to build this character. And after we get these secondary shapes in, we're going to start putting the details in on top of that. The secondary shapes are going to be the arms, and her sleeves are quite long, so you can make these go down pretty far. You want to start right at that corner where the head meets the body. Go down and then just make a straight line connecting the sleeve to the body. Same thing over here. Start at the corner, go down, and then connect. So as you could see already, these basic shapes resemble the finished character just a little bit, but once we add the details on top of here, you're going to see how this is going to transform into this. To start off the details, I'm going to draw the hairline here on top. So you'll notice there is a part in the hair and it is off to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a part on the forehead. You don't want to go too low because you still want to leave room for the eyebrows, eyes. And this is actually a stick of bamboo that she holds in her mouth. I will explain a little bit about that later. But choose a spot here on the side and we're going to draw all these spikes for the hairline going across. So as the hairline goes this way from the part, I'm actually going to mark my part, the part in the hair for me right now. And you can make it, or you should make it, go a little bit above the circle that we drew for the head. Okay. Now as we go across to this side of the head, the spikes are going to point that way. And you don't want to go all the way to the edge of the circle. I'm going to stop about here and then move over to this side and draw a couple more spikes pointing the opposite way towards this side of the head. And again, don't go all the way to the edge. You do want to leave some room. The reason why you want to leave some room is because these strands of hair going down actually cover up a pretty good amount of this circle. So I'll show you what I mean. Starting on this side, we're gonna go down here and drop this long lock of hair down. So how far down you want to take this hair, that's really up to you. As long as you go past the shoulders, the way she's drawn in the actual show, when you see the full body of the character, her hair reaches almost the floor. So if you want to go that low with it, feel free to. I'm gonna go just about here, and then as I go up, notice when I started, this whole edge of the circle is being covered up, and as I go back up, I'm gonna get this line to match up with that part of the circle, and then I'm gonna stop it about there. Okay. Don't worry about all these guidelines that we drew earlier. We don't need them. Some of them, like here on the circle, are going to be covered up, but the parts that are not covered up that we don't need, we will erase later. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So go down. Remember to make sure part of the circle is being covered up here by the hair. You can make this hair twist and turn any way you like. And as you go back up, I'm matching it with the line for the circle and stopping about there. Okay. So this is what I mean. When we don't need these lines anymore, we can get rid of them. Once we get rid of them, we'll start to see the true shape and form of the character take place. There we go. You might be wondering too, why did we draw a circle in the first place if most of it is going to be covered up? Actually, looking at the final drawing, you don't see any of the circle anymore. The reason why we draw the circle is to give us a guideline to follow, because if that circle wasn't here, I wouldn't really know where to place the hair. It might be uneven. Some parts might be lower, higher, or maybe I'll go too far. So that circle is really just to give us a guideline, give us an idea of where to place everything. Okay, so here's the reason why when you draw the part in the hair, you want to go a little bit past the circle. If you do that, it's going to add a little extra volume to the hair. We're going to draw the rest of the hair now, but it gives a little bit extra volume to the hair, so it doesn't make it look like the hair is so flat and falling down too much. So if you think about it, if this circle that we drew was the skull, and on a real person's skull, the way the hair lays on top, it's not completely flat. It does raise above the skull a little bit. So that's kind of the idea that we have in mind when we're raising the hair above the circle here. Now I'm going to draw this side of the hair going out, but I'm going to keep it light because, as you can see here with this ribbon, it is going to cover up a little bit of the line. So I don't want to draw the line too dark, because the part that's going to be covered up, we will have to erase. And if you draw too dark right off the bat, it's going to be hard to erase later on when it comes time to. Okay, so I'm keeping it light for now. Once you get the full shape of the hair in place, let me erase some more of these guidelines that we don't need here and here. Okay. Once you get the full shape of the hair in place, then you could start adding any extra details or strands of hair that you want. As you can see here, there's a few separations in the hair here and here. So you can make as much or as little as you want. If you don't want to add any extra detail at all, you don't have to. I'll put an extra one like that. Here I'll switch it up a little bit and maybe do a few extra lines here and there. Maybe if you want, you could even add a extra strand popping out there. It's really up to you. Okay, So now that that's in place, to draw the ribbon, it's really simple. We're gonna draw a circle here. Circle or oval, however it comes out is fine. And then part of the ribbon, we're gonna start with this angle like that. Draw another angle to match it, and then close it up. Pretty easy. Then just draw another one to match it. Just like that. So with the ribbon in place, I'm going to darken up the lines for the hair. Finalize it there. The hair is also covering up part of the body and shoulders, so we want to make sure we get rid of that too. And then moving on to the face, the midlines here I'm going to use in this way. So the eyebrows are going to be lined up right on this midline. We call the side to side one the horizontal midline. So I'm going to draw the eyebrows lining up there. I like to draw both of them lightly first and then see if the size and shape match pretty well, which I think they do. So now I'm going to make them darker and thicker by just going over a few times with my pencil. How thick you want them to be on your drawing, that's really up to you. You could go very thick, or you could just keep them like this, simple line. The eyes we're gonna keep very simple as well. Just a couple of dots. Again, just drawing the circles first and make sure they match in size and shape. And then once you feel pretty good about their placement, then you can shade them in. Okay, so here's the thing about the bamboo in the mouth. I won't say why she's holding it in there, just because that might spoil some of the story for you if you do plan on checking it out. But the way we're gonna draw it is we're gonna draw a rectangle going across here. And if you want, you can make it covering up completely the circle and covering the chin here at the bottom, or I'm going to show you something a little different from how it is here. I'm going to make mine a little bit thinner so that you can see the chin coming out from underneath. Okay, I'm not drawing this dark yet, again because there are going to be parts that we're covering up, but as you can see, the chin is peeking out from the bottom. So if you want to darken up the chin here, you could do that. But to add the details of the bamboo, we have our big rectangle, and then we're just going to add these little small ones on top. Okay, so one on each end at the very end, and then we'll draw a couple more towards the inside. Very simple when you just break things down into simple steps and shapes. See? Then just darken up all this part that we're gonna keep. A little more cleanup. And then we'll make our way to finish up the drawing by getting the details of the body in. Okay. One thing I will say about this character, I do watch the show and read the manga, or the comic of it, and this is one of my favorite characters because she's not only strong at times she's the strongest character on the show, but at other times she's also very sensitive and very cute, which I think is an interesting dynamic in character, because you don't often see that. Okay, so to get this top part of her clothing, I'm gonna go here right underneath the bamboo and then draw a line going down this way. We're gonna do this on both sides. here, and here. Okay, I'm just gonna darken up all these lines because I know I'm gonna keep them, I'm not gonna erase them. They are gonna be part of the final drawing. Every line that I make dark, I plan on keeping in the final drawing. And if I leave it light, then that means I'm not sure about it, or I do plan on erasing it later. So we have the top robe going over. We're gonna get the neckline in here. We're gonna start with this big part, basically making a V going down. Okay. And then to get this part in her collar, we're gonna go on this side, draw a line going all the way down, and then go back up here and draw a line going down to that. That makes it look like her collar's wrapping over the other side. So basically you're drawing what looks like a letter Y right here and a letter V here. Okay, and then to draw the belt, we're gonna get two layers, one right underneath that V. So this is one layer, and then underneath that, keep this very close, see? The second layer of the belt. And inside each layer, we're gonna make a checkered pattern. So splitting this in half, and then just breaking it up into squares. All right, do the same thing here. Here. And then to finish it up, this part is optional because her sleeves are so long that sometimes they cover her entire hands. At some other parts, you'll see her with her fingers peeking out. So if you want to include the fingers, all you need to draw are 4 bumps here at the end coming out of the sleeve. And with that final touch, I'm going to give my drawing one last check, make sure I didn't forget anything or clean up anything that I don't want in the drawing. Maybe darken these lines up a little bit. And there we go. That is Nezuko from Demon Slayer. I hope you all enjoyed the drawing. Thanks for joining, and we will catch you next time. Bye.